So for this design, we will do a metal partial denture, and we will follow exactly the same 7 steps. Always say that's the 7 steps to heaven. The first step is that we have identified, we've surveyed our model, we have drawn the teeth that we have, the patient has. It's a class 4 a partial denture again that we design, a metal partial denture. So let's just go through the steps again. We have surveyed and we've determined our guide planes. On the model, we now indicate where the teeth are going to be that we replace. We've identified the need. We have to replace 4 anterior teeth. And the first step is to provide support. Remember, support again has to do with preventing the denture from sinking into the saddle area, because we want a tooth supported denture, not a mucosa supported denture like a complete denture. So the first step is, again, we've got abutment teeth that will provide support. We indicate the support so that we know it's there. And then we know that we will also use our molars for support, because we need 3 rests. Rest provides support. So the support are provided by the 2 anterior teeth, 2 abutments, and the clasp, the active retainer that we will use on the molars. So the second step is to provide retention. Because this is a metal partial denture, I'm going to use a circumferential clasp, not a C-clasp as in the acrylic partial denture. And I'm indicated, so a circumferential clasp has 3 components. It has a rest, an active arm, and a reciprocating arm. The way I'm indicating it is that I'm using mesial rest again. So I'm using a distal rest, my active retainer that will engage undercut again, and reciprocation again, tweedledee, tweedledum, my active retainer, which is in the undercut area, and my reciprocation that I must provide. And the circumferential clasp, because it's a chrome cobalt, it has its own rest, so they have 3 rests. On my 2-6, I will use a distally engaging clasp, so I'll have a mesial rest, and my active arm that will be engaging my undercut. My reciprocal arm above the survey line, providing reciprocation for the active arm. So I've got my 1, 2, 3, 4 rests. I've got my 2 clasps or active retainers or direct retainers, 1 on the 1-6 and 1 on the 2-6. I've got reciprocation for my active arm. The next step is then to connect the components, the same as we did with the acrylic partial denture. And the drawing conventions for the metal is slightly different. So on a metal partial denture, it is made out of chrome cobalt. I will use a mesial cingulum rest on my 2 canines instead of a cingulum rest, because this will allow me to then relieve more teeth. So I will connect my components again. Remember, we're busy with our metal partial denture. I'm busy with the connection of my components. And because I'm using, I can actually relieve more teeth. And there I'm joining. So I'm looking at that whether I have connected all my components. And because this is a metal partial dentures, there are additional things that I have to add. And in front usually we will have perforations to which our acrylic will be attached. And I will show you that on a model just now. And we have to include this finish line. Now if you look on the model, we can see that the perforations that I've indicated, This is where my acrylic, because I still need acrylic to be attached, where my teeth will be attached. And this line here is my finish line. So the acrylic will be attached to this area, going into my sulcus area, and my acrylic teeth will be attached. So this is a class 3 modification 1 denture. I've got my finish line and the perforations in the metal framework that is indicated on my denture like this. This is a chrome cobalt denture, so if you look at it, you can see that our clasps are drawn differently. It's all open components. I've got a mesial cingulum rest on the 1-3, mesial cingulum rest on the 2-3, and I've got a circumferential clasp on both molars. The active arm engaging the undercut again, and in metal partial dentures, because we're working with a metal that is slightly more rigid, more stiff, so it's not as flexible as the stainless steel, we can only use a 0.25 undercut. So the 0.25 is wanted undercut. The entire metal is cast in one, so there are no dimensions. All of these are preformed waxes, if you remember from the laboratory steps that were shown to you by the dental technician. And here we have our finished design for the denture. I'm just checking again that I've got my 1, 2, 3, 4 rest. 3 is the minimum. I've got my 2 clasps, my retainers, and remember 1 clasp in each quadrant. I have drawn the open components to show the technician that this is a metal partial denture. I'm using circumferential clasp on the molars. Circumferential clasp can only be used on molars. And then again, I will write my instructions at the bottom of my page to tell the technician all the preparations I've done, whether I have prepared guide planes, whether I have prepared undercuts, and whether I need to do occlusal adjustments in the opposing arch. So all of this will be my metal partial denture. So if we look at a finished denture with teeth, this is what it will look like. Where the perforations are, this is where my teeth will be attached. And my finish line here, this double line, where the acrylic is attached, to which the teeth will be attached. So if we look at another design, where I've used 2 mesially engaging clasps, I've used the same mesial cingulum rest on the 1-3 and the 2-3, and I've used 2 mesially engaging clasps. Look at the difference. It's that we have open components compared to when we did an acrylic design where all the components were solid lines. So this will complete our class 4 metal partial denture.